today we are with Dr. Cary Mitchell. So what was your position in horticulture?
Okay. I am a professor of horticulture and plant physiology at Purdue University, where I've been since 1972.
All right. So what has horticulture meant to your life and career?
Yikes. Everything. I grew up in a mom and pop horticulture industry business in northern Illinois. We were into garden center, landscaping, bedding plant, vegetable production. We did it all. You don't do that anymore. And in fact, very few people actually come from horticulture. But taking the step from growing up in the business to majoring in college, and it was a natural step for me. And at that point, I realized there was so much more I wanted to know, I needed to know, and that's what opened the doors for graduate school in my case. First a master's and then a PhD. A lot of people go from a bachelor's to a PhD these days, but for me, taking the master's before that helped me learn what I didn't want to do as well as what I did want to do. And so that was a great natural step. And one thing led to another, and then after the PhD, an opportunity for someone like myself opened at Purdue, and that was my first and last job.
What has been the most rewarding part of your career in horticulture?
Okay. I would say, since I'm in academia, maybe two things. The first one would be the training of students and graduate students, PhD and master's level students, watching them develop and then seeing their own careers blossom in horticulture and plant sciences and even business. Some of them became entrepreneurs. So it's been a wonderful sort of legacy for me to see this next generation just develop and go out there. Some of them themselves became leaders in the field. I would say the other gratifying thing is in the process of training those students, we made some contributions to science that were subsequently published. And so we've been able to have a lasting impact in several areas of horticultural plant science.
So you see pieces of yourself going forward and all over the place.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And I changed. I morphed over time. I don't know what all the reasons for that are, but some of them had to do with what was fundable at the time by the federal government, and so, but there were common threads, and so I end up being a whole plant, environmental plant physiologist, starting out in stress physiology, and right now at the point I'm at in my career, we're working on controlled environment agriculture, so I'm able to apply all of those things.
All right, so how long have you been a member of ASHS, and how did the society influence your career?
Yeah, good question. At least 50 years I've been a member. I think I just completed my 50th year at Purdue on July 14th. That's when I started. And I think I joined ASHS at least a year before I got my PhD and took the job at Purdue. So at least 51 years I've been a member of ASHS. And what has it meant for me? Well, a great deal. It's been a great networking forum for me to meet current and future collaborators. I've been an officer of ASHS. I've been a president and president of the society and chair of the board. And so I've gotten an opportunity to travel and to meet people in horticulture all over the world. And this, I'm sure, has influenced my personal and professional development to a great extent.
So, what advice can you offer to students or young professionals in horticulture?
Yeah. When I started out, horticulture crops were called minor crops. They were unimportant, and they were sort of an afterthought. Now, today, they're called specialty crops.
We're special.
And they are so important for human health and well-being, and this is being recognized more and more and more. I actually think horticulture is going from being an afterthought 50 years ago to something that it's going to be very important for the future of mankind, of humankind, both for food, nutrition, well-being, ornamentals, landscape plants, the well-being. So I think it's becoming everything, frankly. I think everyone is becoming a horticulturist to a certain extent.
So I can tell you're excited. So that leads me to my last question. What excites you most about the future of the horticulture industry and professions?
Yeah. You used to be able to be a specialist in something. Not so anymore. And multidisciplines have to come together to make horticulture work. And I'm not just talking about academic horticulture, I'm also talking about commercial horticulture. Now, not everyone can be conversant in every discipline, in every field. So you have to learn how to collaborate and cooperate and work with other people, and to have enough basic training in your own background to know what's important and to seek that out if you're not current and on top of all of it. And this is true in business, it's true in research, it's true in teaching, and just making a profitable, sustainable industry.
All right. Well, is there anything else you want to add?
I'll think of it later.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you being with us.
Sure.
Thank you so much.